influencers and brand advocacy.
Is that battery here?
Yeah.
Here somewhere?
All right, so we're going to dive right in. So this panel is very focused. We have influencers, TV stars, people who have been in movies for many, many years. And so I'm really excited to ask each of you your different perspectives on social media, influencers, and the future of this market. We have over 1,000 CMOs, executives, and CEOs in this room. So it's important to understand the other side, how you think, why you think about it. And so we'll start with you, Michael.
Okay.
Why should brands and executives be thinking about philanthropy? You know, you built the Michael Blackson Academy. You built a whole school and orphanage in Ghana. You go there very often. Yeah. Why should brands be thinking about involving in philanthropy?
Well, I think giving is, one thing I learned in America. I came from, born in West Africa, came to the States. One of the biggest things I learned about America, America likes to give. And, I went back home for the first time about 20 years ago after being in the States. And I noticed how the kids were walking around during school hours, and I never understood. Because in America, if the kids are out during school hours, the parents get in trouble. It's against the law for your kids to be out during school hours. And I asked the kids, like, why are you guys not in school? And I found out that those kids couldn't afford to go to school. And I said, okay, I'm gonna do something about this one day. And this was in my village, which is in the central region in Ghana. And I went back about 4 years ago. I said, I have to do something about this. Took my own money, went and built the whole school. And told the kids, the only thing you have to pay for is pay attention to your teachers. I provide everything for the kids. And since I've done that, my life has changed. It's been a blessing. God's been great to me. So giving is always the best thing you could do. It's always good to give back.
Thank you.
Amen.
So Adley, you get over 1 billion views a month on social media.
Wow.
But not once in a while. You've done it for 4 years in a row, ever since I first met you, which is insane. So I worked with influencers my whole life, and I've never seen it happen before. How?
1 billion views organically a month it's a lot. And we started on Facebook because it's the most international, easiest to go viral. And we considered our sole job to be keeping people on these apps for long periods of time. And how do we entertain them? How do we make really compelling content and influence people to watch stuff that they didn't even know they wanted to watch? If I'm a small jewelry company on Etsy and I lead with, hey, buy my jewelry, pay attention to me, most of us in this room on a discovery-based platform, we're gone, right? So how do I not trick you, but compel you to watch this content? I have to insert emotion and curiosity right off the bat and psychologically funnel you into what I actually want to communicate to you. So after we produce all of these videos, thousands and thousands of videos doing billions and billions of monthly views, we could very clearly look at the data and see an arc of storytelling that worked. And it's not terribly different than what we've seen in traditional media and through, age-old storytelling. But our job was to take that and translate that to how it's being consumed month over month, year over year on social media. Because what was true 4 months ago is not true today. But with our amount of volume of output and training creators, how it feels to make a 50,000 view video versus a 50 million view video is night and day. So then our job is to get them very, very good at that storytelling, practice with different niches, and then my job is to take that hero story, that narrative that we've created, and continue growing our online footprint through digital real estate. So I would say for consistency, it's our formula, staying really, really good and focused on the craft and marrying that with as much social real estate as possible.
So Heather, somehow you have 3 different TV shows that are all top of the charts across the board on multiple networks, HGTV and Netflix. It's really hard to do. We've watched it over the years, and typically networks want you to stick with one platform, and they sign you to these crazy exclusives. But you and Tarek have been able to cross over, and for you in particular, Selling Sunset has been #1 many of these years. So for the brands in the room, what would make you compelled to want to work with the brand on a cash deal? Like they want to come to you and say, here's hundreds of thousands of dollars to do X, Y, Z amount of posts. What would make you want to work with a brand, not just the money part?
Yeah, it's not always just about money, right? I've been on TV now for a very long time. Like you said, I started on Selling Sunset. I did 7 seasons. And then I switched over to HGTV, filming 2 shows on there currently. And been on social media a long time. Didn't always start with a huge amount of followers and now built it to over 3 million. I look for authenticity. I look for brands that I'm very parallel with in my beliefs. I don't just take something because it's financially good. I really want to work with brands and companies that I align with. And, you know, I like to have say in what I do. I don't want a brand to just come to me and say, this is what the storyline is, this is what you're posting. Like, if I don't have creative control or almost full creative control, I won't do it. And, you know, that's been really important to me, and my audience is really important to me. Over the years, I've built a strong audience, and, you know, I really value my fan base, and I don't want to put something out there that I don't truly believe in. I am plant-based. I am very health conscious. I'm a mom of 2 amazing stepkids and 1 son of my own. And, you know, I put things out there that I truly believe in, and I want my fan base to always believe in me. And if I'm putting out things that I don't believe in, they're going to see through that. So I have to be very transparent with everything I do. And so it's not always about money, right? I want to have fun with what I do, too.
So at my agency, we have this whiteboard. There's 3,500 influencers, and we put them into sections and categories. Certain influencers are in obviously 1, 2, 3, 4 across many categories depending on what type they do. So like when you said plant-based, mom, we actually have mom influencers. We have plant-based influencers. We have athlete and fitness influencers. And the reason for it is the brands, they want certain categories, and we want to be able to provide it really fast. And so for us to go through thousands of influencers really quickly, we put them in these subsets and say, okay, we want fitness, moms that are plant-based. Then there's
me.
There's Heather. Michael. So you also have gotten hundreds and hundreds of millions of views over the years and making this content mostly focused on funny content. Why should brands consider adding comedy or fun content to their brand?
I mean, I think laughter is, you know, even there's nothing, you can't go wrong with laughter. I don't care how bad the thing is shot. If it's shot in me wrong, as long as you laugh at the end. Like early in my career, I did a lot of Master P movies, and this guy would shoot a movie with an iPhone, okay? He's shooting a phone in a movie, and the phone would ring. He's like, hello, hold on a second, hello? I'm shooting a movie. Cut. 1 second, please. You messed up my film. Okay, action. And he'd go back to work. So as long as that movie's funny, you know, my audience just wants to laugh. You know, I think at the end of the day, you can't go wrong with laughter. And I think that's what's important about comedy. You know, you put comedy, even sometimes it could be a serious movie. As long as it had that one comedic relief segment, I think the crowd will be happy. You can't go wrong with laughter.
Yeah.
Amen.
So Adley, similar question. Your agency, Viralish, you want to go to a brand, or they come to you and say, hey, I'm going to make you viral. Well, a lot of people claim that and say that, or maybe it happens once in a blue moon, but you promise with consistency that you're actually going to do it. How do you convince some of these household name brands to let you take the reins and make funny content?
I think they come to us because of the results that we get. We're a performance-based agency, so if I tell you we're going to get you 40 million views, we get you 40 million views. And so maybe it's a flaw in my business model, but I might change that after today. But so far we are able to do that with a 100% success rate because of how well we study storytelling and our relationships in this space. So it 100% depends on what we're optimizing for. Are we optimizing for Land Rover to just know everybody, the new Defender's coming out? Great, because then we're going for mass awareness, right? No one's gonna click through and buy a car. And that's not the expectation, it's mass awareness. And those are campaigns we do really, really well with. And then we take viral videos, whether it's things caught on Ring camera. We've done everything. Karen's on airplanes, right? But when we're brand focused, we take the positive messaging of the heart that the brand wants to communicate that, wrap that into a widely viewed message that makes the brand the hero of the story, and then widely syndicate. So I default to humor because I got into this as a prankster. And it is just, I mean, it's a universal language, so comedy works really, really well, but it's just one tool in the tool belt, right? We all know that fear, as marketers, is another one. We see that working in the current landscape, but we want to identify that emotion, make it align with your values, and design a narrative, right? How do we make TurboTax sexy and put it all over memes? There's a way to do it, right? But it's just taking that message and putting it at the intersection of culture at scale.
So Heather, I'm going to give a twist to the first question.
Okay.
So instead of a brand saying, okay, here's $100,000, we want you to do XYZ posts across your platforms, what if they came to you and said, we want to start a brand with you? Either a 50-50 deal, like we're going to do this with you and start from scratch, or an existing brand says, hey, Colgate wants to make you your own line of toothpaste, for example. How do you decide that you're going to like really go in with the brand and actually be a partner?
I mean, that's something that would be fantastic, and it's. I mean, it's been.
Raise your hands if you'd like to do a deal right now.
Let's go. Who wants to hire me? Let's go. It's been brought to me on multiple occasions, and I'm working on some deals right now that you'll probably be finding out about soon. But you know, there's always those one-off brand deals, and you know, you get that paycheck and you're done with them. But I like to build long-term relationships with the brands I work with, and even if I do those one-offs, I do such a great job with them. I'm so passionate about what I do, and like what they said, I've been doing skits with my husband that they're comedy skits, and brands have been noticing what I'm doing, so they come to us, and it's almost like shooting these mini commercials. So instead of being on TV shooting the commercials, we're shooting them on our social medias, and one of our videos went to 23 million views. And so brands are starting to notice that, and they're coming to us with those licensing deals.
Like, hey, you want to do a furniture line? Like,
yeah, furniture line. You know, there might be something coming. You guys got to stay tuned. But
I was just guessing, by the way.
I also, like I said earlier, it has to be aligned with my core values and what I believe in. And I don't want to put my name on something that, even if they're going to pay me and I have 50-50 equity in something and or a partnership, just to have my name on that. People truly believe in what I do and what I post, and you know, being authentic. And you know, I post my children on my page. You see me on TV. Like I just really truly believe in not doing something that I've either tried in my own personal life, built myself, and don't want to put my name on something. So I would take it, but I'd have to look at every single thing. Also, you know, I am filming 2 TV shows, so it's nice to have that creative control in everything I do, but at some point I do have to step back a little bit. So I'd have to know that that brand is going to take my name, or that company is going to take my name, and I can trust them that they're going to do something well with it, and I don't have to worry that they're going to mess up my name.
So Michael, you've had a long career. You've been doing movies, TV shows, social media for 2 decades now. How do you adjust with the times when before there wasn't even a smartphone when you were first doing films? We didn't have that. We barely had texting. And then as it goes from MySpace to Facebook to Instagram, and when you think about just the way the platforms work, Instagram first came out, it was just photos. And then later we're like, whoa, 15-second videos, and then 60 seconds, and then IGTV, and then IG Live, and then stories. Stories came out like 7, 8 years later. How do you adjust with the times as technology keeps compounding?
Oh, you have to, man. I remember, and that's when my career actually changed, when social media came out. You know, prior to social media, they just knew me as an African kid from the movie Next Friday. I had no name. You know, when social media came out, when Twitter came out, in fact, I was 6 months behind. At that time, all my peers were like on top of social media. Kevin Hart, Marlon Wayans, all those guys were ahead of me. And when I finally came on, you know, immediately I had to make a name for myself on Twitter. You know, and I started off just doing jokes, roasting, and had my fans roast me back. And as I started growing my Twitter, and then when Instagram came out, I was probably just a month behind that and started posting funny pictures. So, you know, you have to keep up with what's going on, you know. And there's no cookie cutter short way of doing things, you know. There are always different ways of entertaining your audience. It's almost like a diet, you know. Like, you know, growing up as a kid, my TV hero was Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, he worked out every day, you know. He could do like Dave Steinberg. He took the easy way out and just did Ozempic, you know. That's like the microwave way of losing weight. Or you could do like Charlie Sheen, just do cocaine, you know what I'm saying? Or you go to P. Diddy route, just rub 1,000 baby oil on your body. There are different ways of creating content.
Okay, Adley.
Yeah, my drop.
How can we follow that?
All right, Adley, let's walk through a real-life pop quiz scenario.
Okay, great.
You talk to a brand. Okay, let's use the car company you mentioned earlier. They're like, okay, you get $100,000 to work with. Now what? Walk us through an actual campaign for the week or for the month or for one video. Like, walk us through real life.
Sure. So I could list so many campaigns depending on what we're optimizing for. Is it sales? Is it to build a database, or is it mass awareness? If we take Take Michael Chandler. We did one this weekend where Mike Chandler, the UFC announced a big fight for him last Saturday, I believe it was. And he recognizes as an athlete, hey, the more my social currency goes up, the more I'm getting on pay-per-view, the attention I'm driving, and that's gonna be money in my pocket, even though it's not an immediate ROI, right? So he came over to the house and we staged this funny bit where I'm punching my little brother, there's an actor in the video, and I'm punching him, and he's like, is that all you got? And I just kind of pull his hat over his eyes. I'm like, oh, I can get you. Mike comes around the corner and rocks my little brother. I mean, head back. We broke a TV, but we know. And I was like, this one's it's gonna hit. And we shot that, you guys. My brother got rocked 5 times. Different sets. Wow. We did it in different scenes. We split test the crap out of something because again, we have a guarantee. So we represent First Form. I guarantee them 10 million views a month integrated into viral content. Michael's a First Form athlete, so he puts on something, his shirt for First Form, representing his strength and the supplements that he's taken to break a TV with my brother's head. But we ensure that things are going to happen. So we knew that the high stakes value was that TV breaking. So did we have a thumbtack in the back of my brother's hat? For sure. And so we ensured that if that didn't happen naturally, the TV didn't pop off the wall, my brother on the 3rd punch needed to get his shoulder up under that TV to lift it off. It was loosened in the back. Just because when you're going viral, and that is your literal job to do it consistently and predictably, our job is to get over 1 billion views a month. And so we have to control the variables, because otherwise, everybody here's probably had a viral moment, something happened, and it was like lightning in a bottle. So, but how do we capture that? How do we reverse engineer and do it over and over again? We have to control the factors. Or for David's Bridal, they have a line coming out. Do people care? Maybe. But how do we make them care? Mm-hmm. So we throw an event and we have a celebrity, and I said, well, she's going in the pool. Like that's the headline is, Caitlin Bristow falls in the pool at David's bridal launch of blank. So we write the headline that we want in reverse. We know the emotion that we want. This was shock value and awareness on the line. So we rehearse her ankle twisting. This stays in this room. But we rehearse that ankle twisting. I'm giving her time because I don't want it to happen until like 42 seconds. I'm giving her time behind the camera. Wait for it. You're going to take this guy in the pool with this arm, and we've got it planted because that's a one take, right? We don't get to, like we did with my brother, shoot it 4 times. But that was one take. She's going in the pool. So we just consider all the factors. We design the comment section we want in advance, make sure that emotion and that we're stretching and optimizing the watch time and the completion rate of the video, and then we marry it with where that needs to live online. Because if a video, like I guaranteed 40 million views on that piece. If we guarantee that, well, when that video starts going viral, you're getting all the earned press anyway, because it's a viral moment. So it's a really new age way of doing PR, especially when it comes to meme culture. It's one thing for you to talk about you, but let's have the rest of the world talking about you naturally and organically.
So Heather, in reality television, the cameras are on you for months and months at a time while you're filming. Talk us through the behind the scenes world of just like staying present, staying prim and proper. Like you got kids screaming and parents at the house and Tarek's doing construction and walls are falling down. Like there's so much action happening. Like how do you stay present on camera for that for months at a time?
Well, I do have breaks, so lucky enough I'm not on camera 24/7. But when I was pregnant and I was filming Selling Sunset and I was filming mine and my husband's show, The Flipping El Moussa. So I was about to give birth and filmed in high heels, rocking it right until I popped him out. And, I had to smile through it because that's my job and I love what I do. Right now, my husband and I are flipping 14 houses for our show, The Flipping El Moussas. And at the same time, filming our other show called The Flip Off, where we are filming with Tarek's ex-wife, Christina. So it's a competition show. So I am now filming with my husband's ex-wife. Fun, right? So we're raising kids together, filming shows together. So you see little pieces of what I do. My home life, it's just about staying really balanced and trying to separate the drama or things online that I read about myself or hear about myself. And to be honest, I've really done a good job at not reading things about myself because anyone can say anything or speculate things about you. And it's just staying true to who I am and knowing, what's important, which is my family and the success that I've built and not letting people tear me down. So it's definitely a balance that it's not easy. I definitely have moments that, I've cried. I mean, Selling Sunset was a lot of drama in my life. live the drama while you're filming. It's very nasty. And then I come home, cry to my husband about what I just went through with these girls. And then it comes out and the fan base tears you apart, and social media tears you apart, and the press tears you apart. And so I've really had to just stay calm and peaceful in my personal life.
So that leads me to my next question, Michael. You actually had and interacted with trolls on purpose. How do you deal with haters and trolls on social media?
Deal with what? Control?
Haters and trolls.
Oh, haters. Oh, my goodness. So many haters in this room right now.
No.
This guy looks like Robert Redford. This guy looks like he owns every 7-Eleven in the whole country.
You just become the troll. So I see what you did there.
You know what? I've learned the best way to deal with haters. You know, my whole career, I've made fun of myself. Can't go wrong. You know, and it all started from how the kids clowned me when I first came to the States. I mean, American kids be very mean. You know, I remember when I first got to America, all my friends tried to make me feel at home, so they didn't feed me for a month. I was hungry, I'm telling you right now. I had no idea when I came to America. I had no idea I was dark-skinned until I got to this country. I'm hanging out with some black kids. They say, you black? I said, we are black. They said, no, you black as hell. They told me the difference between me and midnight is 11:59. They said when God said, let there be light, I was out of town. They told me I look like I have no bright ideas. They told me I could never tell a white lie. They told me I was baptized on a skillet.
OMG.
They told me I have to wear white gloves before I eat chocolate so I don't bite my fingers. They told me every time I wear a wife beater, I look like a skunk. They told me Stevie Wonder sees me every day. That's dark. They told me if Black lives matter, mine matter the most. That's it. No more dog jokes. Yeah, so the best way to deal with haters, man, just if you can make fun of yourself, then realize you don't care about yourself and nothing will bother you. You know, so I've learned to make fun of myself ahead of my haters, beat them to it.
So Adley, brands sometimes are very protective, especially some of the household name companies that are Fortune 500 brands. They're very protective of the content, but you're the expert, right? All of you are experts in making the content. How do you convince them to allow you to do your magic, to do what you do?
I think it comes back to what we were talking about earlier, which is trust. And if we're going to do a mass awareness campaign, I mean, viral's viral. Once that's out of the bag, like once that gets, 34 million views in a day, you can't stop that. So it's really important that we do craft it together and we keep the main thing, and hopefully they trust us in the creative. And sometimes we really do have to say, hey, give us parameters. Okay, we're not going to do anything to devalue the brand. We want to do long-term relationships, right? So we're not going to make you look bad. That would be silly. So what are the thresholds of comfortability? You don't have to be silly. You don't have to be cringe. You don't have to play into fear. Let's craft an emotion you're comfortable with. But you do have to be interesting. You do have to let us spark an emotion that makes some noise about you. And that starts conversation. We don't want just a statement, right? We want to begin a conversation so that you're creating tribe, right? And so it's, again, optimizing for that goal, but hopefully with our track record, the people that we work for, and then just trusting us in our hearts, and that we have a guarantee that they are going to be happy. Or the cool part about this is we keep making content and testing messaging. If you don't know what it is yet, then fine, let's play around. Let's make a bunch of widely viewed videos until we're gonna hit what we've talked about. But we're going to keep iterating, find that messaging that was the magic of the expertise of the product and what the world actually wants to see from you too, from a creative standpoint. So let's iterate that and let's get it better and stronger and have compounding value month over month as we figure it out together.
So Heather, you have so many different moving parts. There's family life and the kids. There's the husband life and travel. There's flipping 14 houses at the same time and 2 different TV shows. Fashion, style, events. There's so many different things you could post about. On a daily basis, how do you choose what to post about?
Well, Over the years, I was doing social media on my own, and that's not my expertise. I've been lucky enough and built a strong brand where I've now hired a social media team. So my husband and I, we are very collaborative on our social medias, and we work every single day with our team in advance to, like, what are we posting, what's going on in my life, what TV shows are coming out, press events, events like this, so what am I promoting day by day, and then also just being organic. I like to just post on my own stories, and talk direct to the camera and show like little bits of my daily life. And so some of it is very strategic, and then some of it's just very natural. And that's why I think I've kept such a strong following and built these relationships with my followers, is just being real organic. And like these skits that Tarek and I are doing, like they're very funny skits, but those are very thought out. Like it's not just like we show up. Like what she does is we really think about like what's that hook, what's that angle, and it doesn't, like there was a video that my husband and I shot where we were in a coffee shop, and he ordered for me, and he brings me the drink, which was really his ex-wife. So it was like a funny skit we did where we dressed alike. We look a lot alike. That's kind of like the joke for the last 5.5 years. Like he married like the same looking, woman. So we played into that. Like, let's make fun of what everyone is saying. And he walks up to her to give her my drink, turns around, it's her. I walk up and I slapped him. And I slapped him 5 times in a row. And, it was fun for me. I got to slap my husband. But, they go viral, but I know I'm like off the topic of what you asked me. But
It's fun, it's fun.
But those aren't something that I do every day, but I try to be as organic as possible, and I do have a great team that is not easy to find. Social media has been a really tough thing for me to find really strong, solid team, and constantly just striving to find better and better and better.
So, fun fact, we spend $60 million at my agency. $0 is on fancy content. All of our content, all of our influencers, celebrities, athletes, small micro-influencers, fitness influencers, all of them only do phone videos. Because it's 400 to 800% higher engagement on a phone video rather than a fancy video that looks like a commercial.
That's so true.
Because we, as consumers, when we're scrolling through, when we see a commercial, what do? Change the channel, go to the restroom, look at our phones.
Fast.
The one thing we don't do often is watch the actual commercial unless it's compelling. And so the human mind has been trained over especially the last few years, that when we see commercials, skip through it. And so we only do organic content. We only do cell phone content, and it changes everything.
See, I've found like over the years, like I've tried out everything, and what's interesting with my brand and with Tarek as well is those a little bit more produced, but it's also because I'm doing them for bigger companies where it's like those mini commercials. They do very well for us, but it's testing. Some brands, that's why I like that collaborative with the brands, because I ask them, do you want them more on an iPhone or do you want it more professionally produced?
Right.
Yeah, and they want different things, and a lot of the times they say, we're gonna leave it up to you. So those big brands are now, they've seen what we've done with our content, and they're saying, you handle it, and you give me the breakdown of what you want to do. You write the script. So it's like I just figure out, okay, what does that brand want? What is the narrative? And we sometimes we film it professionally, but we make it feel very fast and put great music to it. So we're testing out different things, but right now brands are loving those, not as organic, but those more produced, but we make them feel organic.
Love that. So Michael.
You sure you want to talk to me?
I love that. When you're creating content or thinking of content, how do you choose what you're going to work on? How do you make it?
Let me see. Well, my biggest fan base are guys. 70% are guys, 30% are women. So guys like funny things, and they like to see beautiful women. So a lot of time, I try to cater to my majority of my audience. So I'll try to do some funny stuff with, I have a lot of female influencers, and I'll contact them when we do a lot of collaboration. Social media is not like it was 10 years ago when it came out, where I could just, I'll make a post, I would tag this person or at this person, And then because they said, well, Michael Blackson at her, she must be important, let me follow her. Now I guess everybody's got enough followers. Nobody want to follow nobody. You got to pretty much, you know, you have to do collaboration with peers with more or just as much followers as you do. So I'll get, you know, like I said, guys want to laugh and they want to see beautiful women. So I'll find things of that nature. I'll call my female friends that have a huge following. Let's do something funny. And pretty much try to cater to the majority of your audience.
So Adley, when you make it sound like it's a science formula to make funny content, do you literally like whiteboard out like a beautiful mind, like this is what it's going to be? This is how we're going to design this commercial?
Honestly, yes, in the beginning, but it is like our formula in the hook. As we broke it down, we were like, all right, there's 5 main elements. We make sure everybody that designs videos in our company chooses 3. In suspense, I think that is the difference. Suspense is the difference between a good creator and the best creators in the world. So there's 7 elements that we found. You have to use at least 4. Then we go into the payoff, and that's your chance to either win a follower, make a sale, or start a fight in the comment section. You know, the choice is yours, but that's where you're going to inspire action and affinity to hopefully get the content shareable and widely relatable and let the algorithm work in your favor. Then we go into raising the stakes. There's 4 main ways that we do that. Location is a huge one. And then we go into, we split test everything that we do. But even if we talk about raising the stakes, I think that's the simplest thing most people could do in their organic marketing. We've also never shot a viral video on anything other than an iPhone or a doorbell camera, like a security CCTV. Like, never in our lives. It doesn't work. It doesn't translate because you're not showing up as authentically. You're like making it look like I am an influencer and my lighting's perfect and here's what I'm going to deliver right now. And that's not what people want to see. They want to see something that was caught, right? And so we would study like Hitchcock stuff and suspense and storytelling and just take those themes and then put them to where they were more widely consumed. Yeah.
I did a video on Tuesday, and it's called Perfect is Not Relatable.
I liked that video of yours. That was really well done.
When you just think about, let's say there was a baby up here, and Heather's got baby 1 in front of her, and this baby is holding a bowl of cereal, smiling with a spoon. And over here is Heather picture 2, and the baby's got the bowl of cereal pushed over, milk flying, spoon in the air, Heather like this. What's the engagement going to be like on this compared to that? No one.
Craziness.
It's going to be insane. This engagement will be thousands of % higher compared to that because nobody believes that perfect photo, the perfect baby that just holds the spoon. It doesn't happen. And so perfect is not relatable. And oftentimes you see these brands that think everything has to be exactly manicured and perfect in Photoshop. That's not true. We will feel more comfortable, trust you more, and believe you more if we can actually believe in your content.
I'm saying Shaq's trying to be funny. Shaq owes me money. Shaq, can I have my money now? A lot of witness.
You got all the phones out here. Give him his money.
All right, final question.
Whenever you pay me, I'll be ready.
He's like, I'm gone.
Final question, Heather. Between Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat, Threads, there's half a dozen major platforms. How do you decide which one you're going to make content for?
Oh, so I find for me what does the best for my brand deals and is Instagram for me. I'm also on TikTok. TikTok is it's a different animal for me, and it's a different age group. So, TikTok is very like fast and videos and fun, and Instagram is more like, I wouldn't say a business, but that's where I feel like the brand deals come to me. I'm not as versed on TikTok and like the TikTok shop, but I am launching a skincare line coming up, a beauty line. So TikTok is where I want to focus for that age demographic. Also Instagram, but getting on like TikTok shop is important to me. But yeah, mainly like Instagram and TikTok. That's where I focus on.
So Heather, Adley, and Michael, appreciate you guys being here. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys.